Oh, look at that. Calendar changed another month. November 1st, 2023 edition. Pocket Change Market Report time. Yes, we've hit kind of like that. I don't know. November 1st always seems to be that threshold of the holidays, like the beginning of what is normally the busiest time of year for change hunting, coin roll hunting, whatever you want to call it. But most people this time of year roll up all their coins. They take it back to the bank. It could be coins that possibly it's been sitting in that water jug jar thing for 5-10 years. You just never know what is going to come out of these. And, the holidays are approaching. People need the money. They're going to roll up these coins and exchange them for some cold hard green. So it's a great time to take a look at probably some of the best unsearched material that you could ever find. That's why this same time every year is the most talked about. It's the most important time of the year to do some of these hunts. And as a result, you could come away with some really epic stuff that you could resell on the open market. eBay seems to be the best, bar none, marketplace for reselling things like varieties, die varieties, U.S. mint errors. This is all stuff, ladies and gentlemen, that you could find in these rolls in large groups of change. Later on this week, I got to go somewhere and pick up someone's change that they've counted, and I've agreed to buy it from them for even money. So I'm excited about that. We'll see what kind of gems come out of there. So we're going to take a look at about the last 48 hours, probably more appropriately last 24 hours, because the market is it's really busy right now. It's to say it's scatterbrained is an understatement. It's that wild. It's that active. And we're going to take a look at the best errors and varieties that folks like you have found and have resold on the open market. Lot of pretty good stuff here. There's some stuff that we've never seen before that you guys definitely need to know about. Just keep it on the back of your brain that these coins do exist out there in some capacity. We don't ever talk about graded coins. The big reason why is grading is a pretty decent expense. You have to spend money to get a coin graded in a plastic holder. Sometimes it works out, but most of the time it doesn't. And generally it doesn't enhance the value of some of these errors and varieties too much, if any at all. All right, it could be construed as a real waste of money. So keep that in mind as we look through these. There's just no need to grade coins. And second, all of the original images that you see here are original to the seller's listings. We didn't juice or doctor anything to make them look better. You're going to get simply the best and worst that the eBay world has to offer. But at the very least, you have kind of like where that bar is being set. So if photography is something you're struggling at, then take a look at this video and you'll understand where you need to be there in order to be successful. All right, we do have a little bit of a calendar of events for the week on Whatnot. Because yesterday was Halloween, we didn't do our Part 5 Unsearched Wheat Cent roll auction. That is going to be tonight, Wednesday, November 1st at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. We're going to continue to forge forward with this. I would say I have just enough inventory to get me through about the first or second week of December, and that's it. This is all coins that were purchased privately through folks that have had these for 2 or 3 generations. It's kind of a hunt, not going to lie. I've assembled probably a good 8-9 bags worth of wheat cents over the course of the last 5 years. And that's pretty incredible. You just don't see that too often. And it takes a lot of time and effort to find and headhunt some of these unsearched lots. So we got some remaining, and we have actually 30 lots tonight. So if you're looking to pick up some stuff that you can hunt through, there's been a lot of great stuff that's been found. A 1955 doubled die obverse FS102 was discovered in one of the lots. There were a myriad of various improper alloy mix woody scents. There was quite a bit of those that were being found. There's been some repunched mint marks, some mint errors. Yeah, all this data coming in from folks that have purchased from me. Some of these coins that have been found. And that's exactly what you want to find are coins like that. You know, something really neat you could add to your collection. And, you know, I'm looking forward to doing part 5 for tonight. And then this Friday, we do have our normal standard Friday show. We have the November kickoff coin signature sale featuring both world and U.S. There's a lot more U.S. coins in this particular lot for this Friday. Probably just a few world coins in there. That's going to be on Friday, November 3rd, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern on both nights. So if you guys are interested, come check it out. If it's your first time, keep in mind I do have that referral link down below in the description box. If you sign up under my referral link, you do get $15 in usable store credit that is applied automatically on your first purchase. So that's really cool. Something to take advantage of. All right, let's go ahead and jump right in. Let's see what kind of coins I've been selling here recently. Starting out with this little hot gem, 1935 Buffalo Nickel. All right, first and foremost, yeah, we want to address the elephant in the room. There are a few digs on the reverse there, definitely post-mint damage. You know, so it's a details grade coin. But there is a pretty big variety to be on the lookout for on the 1935 Philadelphia minted Buffalo Nickels. So if you do come across a large cache of these, whether it's at a local coin shop, keep in mind they don't look for things like this. Maybe you know someone locally that has a bunch of Buffalo Nickels that are unsearched. This is a great one here that has a ton of value. This is the FS801 doubled die reverse. You can see a lot of doubling here on the words 5 and cents. On the reverse, plenty of notching on much earlier die states and higher graded examples. You can actually see the splits, which is really cool. This is a great one. So even with the damage on the reverse, this one did still sell for about for $43.99 on eBay. There's no about it. It did sell for $43.99. So this is a good one here, folks. Keep that in mind. Flip every 35 over to look for this doubling. The next one that we have here, quick little market update. I mean, we do this every PCMR until the market dries up or there's just no more interest in the Extra V 2023 Lincoln Shield cents. This has become one of the most hotly contested coins out there. There are some people that are all about it, and there are some people that just do not believe that this is any sort of variety or error. Although when guys like Mike Diamond, who's one of the foremost experts in the error community, the error field in general, and he says, "Yep, this is a variety." So, you know, NGC and PCGS will grade these as the Extra V, and that's kind of been where the hot button is with these currently. Ever since that announcement was made that the big third-party graders were going to designate these with the Extra V on the labels, that kind of like turned the faucets on for a lot of people to buy up the nice, better-looking examples like this one here, which looks pretty good. This one ended up selling for $59.99. These things have sold for as low as $20-$30. But we're still looking for that little V notch right there. It's right next to the VDB initials on the base of Lincoln's bust. So if you do see this and it's a nice condition, you can either sell it raw, someone will buy it, they'll send it off to one of these grading companies, and then flip it for a massive amount of profit. The next one that we have here, we actually have a pair of really nice earlier wheat cent reverse off-center Lincolns. This is a 1952D. This one's off-center by about 30%. This is really nice. It features a full date, a mint mark. It's problem-free. It's beautiful. This one sold for $69.99. So these are very well collected, and there are a group of folks that are collecting these by date. So they're looking for one of each date and mint mark. Some of them can get really scarce. We also have this 1941. I believe it's from the same seller, but this one is off-center by about 20%, somewhere around there, although the coin does appear to be a little bit cleaned. This one sold for $49.99, so you can see the price difference between one and the other. The previous one, the 52D, looks to be a problem-free example. This one, based off of its unnatural color and characteristics and those fine hairlines, maybe has been cleaned at one point. We also have this 1985 Philly Jefferson nickel. This is what they call a double struck error. The secondary strike is approximately 85-90% off center, and it is a uniface, which means this coin was overlapping either a blank planchet or another coin, all right, thereby creating what is a uniface on the reverse, which has no visible design of that part of the coin. This particular coin is in great shape, although it does have a fair number of pretty deep scratches at the bottom of the reverse that will greatly affect its eye appeal, and this one will not grade cleanly if you are going to send it to PCGS or NGC. This one right here ended up selling for $34.99. I would say without the digs on the reverse, this one probably would have sold for $50, $60. You know, not too bad of a coin, but it does have a few issues. Now, this is a 1920s Lincoln wheat cent. It was originally pitched on eBay as being rolled thin planchet, all right, which means it's a tapered planchet on one side of the coin. You can tell that right where the date is, it's a little bit thinner. You don't have as well a struck of a rim there. You can see it on the reverse as well. So this is probably like an end of strip planchet that was rolled a little bit thinner. And because of that, the devices won't strike up as well on these. This one right here is sold for $30, and sure, it does have a fair amount of corrosion and other foreign substance on the coin that usually is a detractor, but keep in mind, ugly, beat up, or damaged doesn't necessarily mean your coin is worth zero. This is a true testament to that. Here's a 1951D Lincoln wheat cent. Now, this is a pretty decent looking coin. It's got some tone discoloration on both sides of the coin that are probably part of the storage environment that it was sitting in. The one on the obverse, right where Liberty is, looks to be kind of like a fingerprint just based off of the patterning. But this one, pretty neat. This is one you don't see too often. Date-wise, is a BIE die chip, as you can see here, that raised mount connecting the B and E in Liberty, creating what looks like a letter I, but in reality, it's just a die chip. This one sold for $17.50, and that's a nice little close-up of the toning there. Nice little blue color added to the copper. Copper really tones really pretty, whether it's artificial or not. So, yeah, that's a pretty neat looking appearance there. 1944 P Jefferson nickel. This is a wartime silver, 35% silver and manganese, and this is a very common issue that we see on these silver war nickels. This one right here is a defective planchet by the way of some lamination, some detachments all throughout the reverse. You can see a little bit on the obverse as well. You know, generally they have very low value because they're a commonality in these particular coins. However, you know, might as well give it a shot, throw one on eBay, see what you could get out of it. And this person just so happens to have sold this one for $10.86, which is roughly 4.5 times what the actual value of the coin is. So that's pretty good. I would probably do that myself and accept that kind of money. It's just a really cool looking coin with a, you know, pretty visually stunning type of error on there. Here's our first piece of currency. How about this 1977A $5 bill with a gutter fold? So you can see that white line right in the middle there. That was at one point a wrinkle in the sheet that was printed over. So when you stretch out the wrinkle, you get obviously a unprinted area of the note. They call it a gutter channel. And you see that here on this one. Sometimes they can be found through the quality control processes, but more times than not, they have gone through and get packed out into straps. When we look at the reverse, when they applied the reverse print, the wrinkle was stretched out to be able to print that there. This one sold for $35.13, and that's with 2 bids on this one. This is one of the more minor type of U.S. Mint errors, and pretty cool to see. Now, this one's quite nice. It's also a woody or in proper alloy mix, but it's also a nice little minor centered broad strike. This is a 1920 Lincoln wheat cent. It's in really nice shape too, probably a mid-state brown. So as minor and small as it is, this one has loads of eye appeal. This one ended up selling for $42.99 here in the last day. And here's one, guys, that I think you guys need to pay a little bit more closer attention to, because the people that are finding these just in bulk Morgan dollar scrap bins, they're making a fair amount of money reselling these. This one obviously looks like it's been cleaned very harshly, might I add. It's a 1900 O. It's a very common date in low grades, but it's an over mint mark. It's the O over Carson City mint mark coin. And pretty easy to distinguish here. If you look at the O mint mark, it's got what looks to be fangs coming out of the right side of the O there. That's actually the left side of one of the Carson City letters, one of the C's right there. And that's how you know that it's the over mint mark when it has those fangs. The earlier die states, you can actually see both letters in Carson City on there pretty well. This one probably is a little bit later die state, and that's why you only have the 2 spikes coming out there. This one is a very well-known VAM variety. It's also in the Red Book. It's very collectible, even in this grade. This one ended up selling for $91.75 with 18 bids. Keep in mind, you can go to any coin shop and buy low-ball, crappy condition Morgans for around $26 to $28 with the price of silver the way it is right now. So this is a really good flip if you're able to find one of these. Another good one is the 1882 O over S. All right, so keep your eye out on both over mint marks. They're not particularly rare, and they sell really good. Whoa, Holy Toner Batman. So we have another double struck error, but this one has a ton of just really cool looking colors on here. I'm not going to go out and say that it's like 100% original toning. It could be artificial. I don't know where this thing was stored or what the case is, but this 1998 double struck Lincoln Memorial Cent is quite neat looking. From a visual standpoint, it's very attractive, and I could see why a lot of people like this coin. So the secondary strike is about 65% off center here. This one sold for $135. And a lot of that, I'm willing to bet, is the toning. Combine that with the mint error, and you just have something that is just extraordinary. And proving once again that you don't have to grade these. You just need to know if you have a real one or not. And there's a few die markers on the FS 10155 double the die obverse that you need to know about. There's a couple little die scratches coming off the top right bar of the T and cent on the reverse. This one, I could see it right there. Couple little die scratches. That's one of those things you have to be on the lookout for. But if you need more kind of clarification on the important die markers of this coin, go to a website like coppercoins.com or Lincoln Cent Resource, and those guys will have the die markers for this very, very popular coin on there. So yeah, this is a pretty big dollar coin, graded or not. This one looks to be about an AU brown, which is one of the more common grades of this particular variety. How about $2,326.01 with 72 bids? There were a boatload of folks battling out to own this coin, and Coins and Cards delivering yet again on another banging error and variety. So our main feature coin of the week has to be this one. It's a 2001 Lincoln Memorial Cent. Now, by itself, it doesn't look like a whole lot of interest here. It's a date that we don't see a lot of stuff going on, except maybe the occasional broad strike or off-center strike. But yeah, this one ended up selling for $78.95. And we're kind of thinking, like, why? Like, why did this thing sell for almost $80? And it has everything to do with this little anomaly next to the word God. I mean, what is that? Is that another struck letter? Is it a die gouge or something to that effect? Well, let's consider the composition of the coin. It's a copper-coated zinc here. And what we are seeing here is not actually a letter, it's a linear plating bubble. That's actually very common on these. And, much like, I guess, strike-throughs are, it's all about placement. And people are willing to pay some ungodly amounts of money, I get it, godly, God, for coins with weird placement of plating bubbles and blisters and strike-throughs and all sorts of things. Now, a linear plating bubble is nothing more than impurities that were on the zinc core before these things were plated. All right, let's get that out of the way. So that promotes blistering that you see here. And yeah, I mean, it's kind of crazy, for the amount of money that was spent on this coin, it's something that is not an error. It's not a variety. This is just something that happens. And, it's really cool to see, but at the same time, if you think you're going to buy one of these in the hopes that, you're going to resell it later on for more money, I want you to think twice about doing that. Buy something because you want to add it to your collection and you want it, right? It has meaning to you. But there you go. $78. Yeah, I'm still floored about this one. We have a lot. This is actually 3 coins and not 4, as evidence on the screen here. The top 2 coins is actually the same coin. It's a uncentered broad strike 1941 Lincoln cent. You have a nice BU 1941 there on the bottom left. And then another 41 with a curvatured clip or sheet clip, whatever you want to call it. So 2 of them are mint errors. One is just a really nice looking coin that belongs in an album. This trio ended up selling for $38.75. That was the starting bid, and someone put 1 bid in for that amount, and they are now an owner. And I think it's worth every bit that amount of money based off of the coin up top. That one's worth, what it's worth as far as the lot is concerned. And consider the nice BU red 41 and the clip to be kind of like bonuses in this one. So there you go. Yeah, nice little mini lot for you. Here's another 41. This time another improper alloy mix Woody. This one is sold for $9. This is an appearance that most collectors are starting to appreciate a little bit more, even though the finalized results of sales from these coins in the past haven't indicated that kind of movement yet. Here's a 1981p Jefferson nickel. This one's off-center by about 40%. Pretty cool. It's in decent shape. Looks like it's circulated a little bit. I don't know how it would, without being, discovered as being an oddity. This one sold for $17.49, and that's with 17 bids. We have a few pieces of paper, very nice ones too. 1974 $1 bill. Looks pretty normal on the front until we turn it over, and you can see a partial front to back wet ink transfer. I call this first press. All right, that's what I'm going to begin to call these types. When the ink is at its darkest. All right, that's simply just residual ink that is on the impression cylinder. As you can see here, that it's a very vivid black. This one right here sold for $58.09 with 5 bids. Very nice note there. We also have this 2013 Ace as well. The note seems to be in really nice shape. And again, we're not seeing anything that glares out as paper money error looking at the front of the note, but what does the back look like? What we have here, well, that's kind of neat. This is another wet ink transfer. This time it's the overprint that's been transferred to the back. Now, I know what you guys are going to ask me, like, where's the serial numbers? Well, the serial numbers, they operate and they're mechanically separated from the printing plates to where, you know, the digits turn and they move up and down. So obviously the serial number part of it wasn't engaged when the back was printed on here, or it wasn't printed at all. It's a wet ink transfer. Again, the overprint was inadvertently printed on the impression cylinder, and then that transferred on to the back of these notes. This one right here sold for a little bit more, $498. The overprint or third print wet ink transfers are incredibly valuable. It's something that we don't see as often on these. And ladies and gentlemen, back in the day, this is what a rejected bill looks like. It's got a red wax crayon rejection mark on the front. And really on this note, it's just a little bit miscut. But it was enough that it drew the attention of a quality control agent, where they did put the marking, the red crayon mark on the front. And they even wrote a little bit of something on the back. It says what looks to be tax. I don't know what that is, but this one was not supposed to circulate, but somehow it got inserted into a bank strap and sent out for circulation. This one sold for only $21.50 with 12 bids. So there were probably a few bidders that are scared away by what the tax kind of like marking is on the reverse here, but still a very interesting note. And, man, I'm really glad to see more of these come out. There was a period of about a month or two where we didn't see any Wounded Eagle Sackawea dollars. And now we've had like one in the last 3 or 4 shows, which means that these are coming back. You know, they're not particularly rare, and they represent a very nice payday for folks that do come across them. So this is also referred to as the FS 901. Variety in the Cherry Picker's Guide, and it's only on the 2000 Philly minted Sackawea dollars. You're going to see a pair of die gouges that go into the bird's breast feather and into the wing. These are raised anomalies, okay? They're not scratches. So if you think you found one of these on the reverse of your coin, all right, make sure that they're raised, and they're going to be easy to feel too. This one sold for $56, and that's with 13 bids. You know, good looking coin here. And it's in pretty nice shape. Although, you know, the prices have kind of settled down a little bit. They used to be kind of like $75 to $100. And we haven't seen that many that have hit beyond $75 lately. So I'm wondering if just interest is waning and overall supply is kind of like exceeding demand at this point. I don't know. We'll see. But it's still a very well-known Cherry Picker's Guide variety. Another piece of currency here. This is a 2003 $1 bill. Now, it looks like there's an omission of print on the top right corner there. And what we have here is actually what they call a fold-over obstruction print. All right. So there was a corner fold of some type on the subject sheet, and it was printed over and then subsequently cut. All right, so the actual fold over was the obstruction here, creating that void there on the top right corner, and yeah, there's a little bit of a cut mark as well. That's not quite square on that corner. When we look at the back, you got still a full print here because the fold was going the other way. And this one sold for $42 with 9 bids. Again, pretty neat. Oddity, albeit a little bit on the minor side for most error collectors. And only one of the best, I would say, bar none, double the dies out there today. This is the WDDO number 6, 2015 Lincoln Shield Cent double to die obverse. I mean, if you guys need a refresher, check out the doubling on the date. Just incredible. You also have doubling on the motto, "In God We Trust." And also Liberty, although this seller did not provide a close-up of the word Liberty here. So this one, folks, sold for $21.10. It's just going to be one day that this is going to be in the Cherry Picker's Guide, and the demand's going to fly upwards. Whenever that happens, usually the coins wake up in the market, and they sell for a lot more because of that. Another big one here, 1995 Lincoln Memorial Cent. The seller had actually 6 or 7 of them available. 4 of them have sold for a price of $55.98, and that's with shipping included. This is the FS 101 doubled die obverse. And again, if you need a refresher, check out the doubling on Liberty and In God We Trust. It's quite strong, and you'd be hard-pressed not to find something like this if it's staring you in the face. So yeah, $56 sale here on these. In mid-state condition, they're worth about that raw. And I haven't talked about one of these in a little while either, although there have been a few that have sold. This is an undated Lincoln Memorial Cent. It was a copper age type, so pre-1982. Struck through an earlier stage cap die, creating a brockage effect on the obverse of the coin. And that's actually the Lincoln Memorial on the die cap that still has enough of design on there that it's striking it onto the subject coin. Pretty neat, and you know, what else can we say about these? When they have the brockage and they're quite nice and they're mirrored and, you know, full, they're very, very cool. This one sold for $51.01 with 9 bids. And our final coin or coins for this pocket change market report for November is going to be this pair here. This is a pair of Lincoln Memorial Cents. Sorry about that. Lincoln Memorial Cents that were struck on split planchets. We have a 1959, which is a coin there on the left, and it does have damage on it. And what appears to be, I guess, a 1962 Denver Lincoln Memorial. When we look at the backs on these, yeah, it's got that look of a coin that was struck on a very thin split planchet. The planchet that split literally in half right down the edge. And because of that, these things are about half its weight, half of a 3.1 gram normal sized planchet. You know, and they're thinner, so it's not going to press the whole, or it's not going to mint up the whole design on both sides of the coin. There's going to be a lot of weakness here. So even though one's damaged and one is great, you know, it did still manage to sell for $70.25. You know, good collectibles to add to a collection if you're looking for something like this. This is something that we do see come up on occasion in the open market. But always keep in mind that, yeah, that these coins are quite desirable. And I would say in any grade, but that one there on the left, I wouldn't own that for the world because of the damage. But, you know, one man's trash is another man's treasure. So congrats to both the seller and the buyer on this one. Pretty good sale on both. All right, that's going to go ahead and wrap things up. This video is for entertainment purposes only, not financial advice. Keep that in mind. Collect and grade responsibly if you're going to do that. And that's going to go ahead and wrap things up for this edition of the Pocket Change Market Report. Hopefully it gave you a little bit of inspiration to go out there and do some hunting for the rest of the week. I know it does myself. And that's it. I'm out of here, guys. Sean with BlueRidgeSilverhound. Have a great day and happy hunting. I'll see you guys on the next coin video.